Hey there everyone, Don Emmons here from Watchreport.com. Today we have a Zodiac for review, and I have to say it's been quite some time since I have reviewed a Zodiac watch, and I hope this one won't be the last. This one is the GMT Sea Wolf, and there are many variations of this piece, but as you saw in the title, this one is exclusive to Topper's Jewelers, and this specific combination is a silver sunray or crystal dial with a Pepsi GMT bezel and uses a Soprod C125 GMT caliber. Priced at $1,800, and yes, this is limited as well to only 182 pieces. I will talk about Zodiac in general in this review, the Sea Wolf line, and this specific GMT, and let you know what I think about it. So let's get on with the review. When we take a look at the packaging, I wouldn't say the packaging is elaborate, but there is a lot of it, and to be honest, it's a little too much cardboard and sleeves to actually get to a plain box that houses the watch. Your warranty and instructional info is in a compartment underneath, and there's a little map microfiber cloth, but no tools or straps or anything. Not that it needs it, but when it takes me a bit to open up a watch like this, I guess I was expecting more. Onto the design, and this is your standard Sea Wolf case that Zodiac has been producing for a few years now, and the Sea Wolf name goes back a long ways for Zodiac, and there have been many watches over the years to have this branding from them. This is the latest incarnation, and it is a pretty svelte case in both diameter and thickness. If you're looking for hard numbers, it is a 40mm case, a lug-to-lug of 47 millimeters. It comes in at 13 millimeters thick with a 20 millimeter lug width. The bracelet tapers to 16 millimeters, believe it or not, and the clasp measures 18 millimeters in width. The screw-down crown measures 6.2 millimeters in diameter, which I find a little small, and the movement is a Soprod C125 GMT. 200 meters water resistant, so that'll help you when you're in the pool. And of course it has a sapphire crystal, domed in this instance, but surprisingly, the Pepsi GMT bezel is a K1 mineral crystal, not sapphire. A little disappointing on an $1,800 watch. If you are looking for something lightweight, on an unsized bracelet, this watch comes in at 148 grams. So let's talk a little bit about the design and the history of this GMT. This watch was developed from the aerospace GMT from Zodiac, and it actually shares a decent amount of looks from that piece, including the hands, the indices, and even the font. Now incorporated into the Sea Wolf lineup, they have retained a lot of that classic styling on the dial and even the case. The case sides are vertically brushed, and there is a good amount of high polish around the case and bracelet as well, but it fits with the style of watch. If it were all brushed, it wouldn't have that same appeal, and it would probably look a little boring. And this design is somewhat subdued, so the mirror polish does add some pop. Another thing that adds some pop is the roulette date wheel, as it is called. Basically, the date alternates between red and blue, matching the colors of the bezel. And while that feature is not functional, it is cute, and it's a little something different, and I like that. The silver sunray dial and the chrome hands work well together, and I find the dial easy to read, and it's nice to see another color beyond the normal black and blues. What about the GMT though? Is it a true GMT, are you asking? Sadly, it is not. As you can see, it is not an independent GMT hand and moves when setting the local hand. This is a Soprod movement based off the former Soprod A10, I think now called the Soprod M100. No issues that I have with the movement, and even though the bezel is bi-directional and rotates, you could still really only set 2 different time zones here. What is kind of funny though, is Fossil, the group who owns Zodiac, they produce STP movements, but a GMT movement doesn't exist yet. So they have been using ETA or Soprod for their GMTs. I guess with just as big of a company as Fossil has become, I'm just wondering if they'll ever produce their own GMT movement through STP. Just a thought. Pretty standard solid case back here, but if you were to open it, it is the dreaded plastic movement spacer on the inside. Lots of pros and cons out there about this, but I bet most don't expect it on a watch that is almost $2,000. But it is plastic on this one. Now the bracelet I find pretty interesting. There's actually a lot going on with this bracelet, and you wouldn't notice it at first glance. The link design has little lines or ridges on each side of the link, giving the impression that this would be a rivet style bracelet, but it isn't. It's just part of the link design. Another thing, something I take a point off for, this is a pin and collar or pin and tube system that hold the links together. You find this system used a lot in Seiko watches. It's a very secure way of attaching the links, but it can be a pain to size. If you're not comfortable with it, I suggest taking it to a jeweler. Another unique feature is the stretch link. This is something I haven't really encountered before. The last link before the clasp on each side stretches or slides a little, apparently as a way to have a little give if your wrist swells during the day. I think it's a novel idea, but I don't know if I really love it. I don't think I'd count it as a negative, but if any of you have one of these watches with this bracelet or any of the Zodiacs with the style of this stretch link, let me know. Sound off in the comments. Let me know if you find this feature particularly useful. One last other feature that I like is the clasp. It is a standard clasp as far as functionality, but the clasp has a cutout for the logo flip lock, that little circle there, which is how the clasp stays closed. I'll give this one a thumbs up. The function is the same as any other flip clasp, but I like how this one was given a little flair. Unfortunately, the lume is disappointing. No other way to say it. There is just not that much lume applied to the dial, and what is does not glow very bright, nor for that long. Of course, with some camera play and a UV light, I could snap a great photo of the lume, but as you can see with this video, it's nothing to write home about. Zodiac, up your lume game on this piece. As with almost any other watch I review, there are always pros and cons. I have always been a Zodiac watch fan, owned a lot of them at one point as well, though they were much cheaper then. You can go to the Fossil outlet and get crazy deals on countless Zodiac watches, and that is just what my father and I did. Granted, that was a long time ago now, and Fossil has been doing a good job with upping the quality and design of the Zodiac watches, and it seems they have improved their marketing as well, and many watch enthusiasts have been buyers. I like a lot about this GMT, and the Pepsi with the crystal dial is the most traditional of the bunch, especially compared to the orange creamsicle and fluorescent green editions. But for me, the downsides of this watch are the small crown, the lack of lume, and the mineral crystal bezel. Also, the pin and collar links and plastic movement spacer should be called out here as well. The overall design is there, and it does feel great on my 7.5-inch wrist, but this would not be the Zodiac of my choice. What do you think about this limited and exclusive GMT though? Was I too harsh in my commentary? Is it one of your favorites? Was I spot on? Either way, let me know down in the comment section below. Links to the Topper's website, Zodiac's website, and to my written article at Watchreport.com will be linked below, as well as Amazon affiliate links. And hey, before you leave, make sure to like, share, and comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, and it really does help out the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video.